Hey guys, this is Matt here with another YouTube video for you today. The topic of discussion today is a topic that's near and dear to my heart, and it always has been since as far back as I can remember. Die Hard was a very important film in our household. I can remember watching it almost maybe 2 or 3 times a year. It was a pretty big deal. Even going back then, there was the debate of whether it was a Christmas movie or not. As far as I can remember, my mom arguing against him, saying that it wasn't. But in my heart, I knew that it seldomly was. I mean, there's too many elements in that movie for it not to be a Christmas movie to me. But that's a whole nother discussion for another video. That's how I personally feel on the matter. But Die Hard was a very important action movie of the 80s. It inspired mainly countless Die Hard on a boat, Die Hard on a ship, Die Hard, Die Hard on a bus, Die Hard, there was a period in time where there was a Die Hard on a ... So with that being said, every time it came out with a new format, we got it. So we had the VHS set. I remember it had Die Hard 1, Die Hard 2, and then I believe it had the making of Die Hard with a Vengeance. That's how far back that's going. And then I know later on we had the DVD set that had all three of them in it. Then there was the Blu-ray sets that they had. And then put out the sequels, which I thought 2 was fine. I thought 3 was pretty good. I wasn't too big on the last two. It just didn't feel consistent with the tone of the previous movies. And it just felt at that point in time that John McClane as a character had lost all his vulnerability. He didn't feel human anymore. He felt like a superhero to me, more or less. He felt like that nothing could happen to him. He didn't feel human. So that's what kind of lost it for me. But nonetheless, I know Live Free or Die Hard had some decent action sequences. And I'll at least give that. I thought it was okay. And then Good Day to Die Hard, I couldn't get into, and I feel like that's the popular opinion with everybody else. So, and then also, then the 4K comes out, and the transfer and the whole presentation of the movie itself looks pretty darn good. So I just wish they would put out the other ones on 4K, because those would be some wonderful additions. So with that being said, now the movie came out in 1988, and I was born in 1987. So there could have been no possible way I could have watched this movie in a movie theater. And with the set opportunity to, and when the time arose, I always told myself that if it ever came back to the big screen that I'd always catch it. And and for years and years and years, I know they had done re-releases on other films, and never Die Hard, unless there was something I didn't know about. Well, come to find out, as of recently, AMC put out a article stating that starting on December 8th, that they were going to re-release Die Hard in theaters for a limited amount of time. And I believe it was AMC and Regal Cinemas that were going to do that. They were going hand in hand. So I was like, great, that would be wonderful. But knowing on where I live and the area, I kind of figured that this wasn't going to happen, considering the fact that they normally never really played re-releases around my area. And boy, was I wrong about that. So Tuesday of last week, on December 12th, I got a call from my dad, and he goes, "Hey, they're playing a re-release. They're doing a re-release of Die Hard in the movie theater. Would you want to go see it?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course, absolutely." So I went and drove on over to my dad's house, and then from there we hit the movie theater, and I got to watch it on the big screen for the first time. And what I can tell you is, it was like the same movie but different at the same time. It seemed like a lot of the spectacle and a lot of the action and a lot of the story was just blown up by 10 times what I can remember. And and you got to keep in mind that this was a movie I've seen about hundreds upon hundreds, thousands of times. And it was just larger than life. And, you know, I think the last time I got a chance to watch it was maybe about a year or two ago. And just like always, the film still holds up very well. Well, it's a very well written story. The action is wonderful. Amazing characters. You honestly feel like Bruce Willis's John McClane influenced a number of heroes going on forward, because before that we had our Arnold Schwarzeneggers and we had our Sylvester Stallones, where they're muscle bound and they were all ripped and big and huge and all that. And you know, Bruce Willis's John McClane was more of a relatable kind of hero. You know, you could believe that a guy could get caught up in a situation like that. And as well as Alan Rickman as Hans Gruber, I thought he was a wonderful villain. Probably, obviously, the best villain of the series. Very charming, very cunning. Was always seemed like he was always on top of things, and it seemed like when he went in to stage the robbery that he had this thing planned for days upon days. And it seemed like anytime Hans Gruber would try to achieve something in his goal, that McClane would triumph over it. And then as time would go on, it would go back and forth. And it seemed like the obstacles for McClane were getting extremely harder and harder, and the tension was always rising up in each and every time. So the movie still holds up very well. I had a great time with it. Man, if they would have honestly played Die Hard 2 and Die Hard 3, I would have hung around the whole entire night and marathon the Die Hard movies. But I had such a wonderful time with them. Maybe later on in the future, maybe I'll give more of an in-depth review on the first Die Hard and many of the other movies too as well. But I just want to let you guys know I had a wonderful time, and if there is ever any re-releases in the future, I will try and catch them, and I will try and talk to you more about those. So that's all I have to say on that. It was wonderful. If you got to see Die Hard in your movie theater, comment below. Tell me what it was like for you. If you want to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I just want to say thank you all, and you guys have a wonderful day.